Hey guys, tonight we slip quietly into a medieval chamber where the fire has burned down to embers, the rushes on the floor whisper softly under distant footsteps, and the air smells faintly of smoke and wool. And if you think you would have slept peacefully here without your memory foam mattress and blackout curtains, you probably won't survive this. Before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. As always, let me know down in the comments where you're listening from and what your local time is right now. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The chamber. You lie on a simple straw mattress stuffed inside a linen tick, the fabric slightly rough beneath your fingertips. The bed frame creaks if you shift too quickly, so you learn not to. Above you, thick oak beams stretch across the low ceiling, darkened by decades of smoke. The only light comes from the hearth, where orange coals pulse softly like the slow heartbeat of the room itself. You are not alone here. In much of medieval Europe, sleeping alone was a luxury. Families often shared beds, not just siblings but parents, grandparents, sometimes even visiting relatives. A well-known historical fact is that in the Middle Ages, beds were expensive household items, often listed prominently in wills because they were valuable pieces of property. You do not casually own a bed. You inherit it. The rhythm of the night. Tonight, though, imagine the others already asleep. Their breathing blends into a soft rhythm around you, a shared human tide rising and falling in the darkness. The straw beneath you rustles faintly when you adjust your shoulder. You try not to disturb anyone. Privacy is not something you expect. It is something you improvise in your own mind. The hearth gives a small crack as a coal collapses inward. Sparks flicker briefly, then fade. You watch the glow without lifting your head. There is something hypnotic about it, the way the embers brighten and dim as if responding to invisible breath. Scholars still argue whether people in the medieval period truly feared the dark more than we do, or whether that idea is exaggerated by later writers. But here, in this room without glass windows, only wooden shutters, you understand that darkness feels thicker when it is complete. Walls and warmth. Outside, wind brushes against the outer wall. The stone holds steady. Castles and cottages alike relied on thick masonry, not only for defense, but for insulation. The walls breathe cold slowly, releasing it back into the chamber as the fire fades. You pull the wool blanket slightly higher. It smells faintly of lanolin and smoke, not unpleasant, just real. Oddly enough, medieval sleepers sometimes believed that sleeping with your head pointed north invited bad dreams, while others insisted it improved health. There was no compass on the wall to guide you, of course. Orientation was guesswork mixed with folklore. Tonight, you simply lie as the bed was placed, trusting fate or carpentry. Segments of sleep. Medieval sleep was often segmented, another historical detail that surprises modern listeners. Many people experienced a first sleep and a second sleep, waking naturally for an hour or two in between. During that quiet interval, they might pray, reflect, or simply lie awake in stillness. If you wake later tonight, it would not be unusual here. It would be expected. For now, though, you drift at the edge. You listen to the architecture of the night, the wood beam contracting. A distant dog barking once. Wind pressing briefly against the shutters. Surrender. There is no clock marking the hour. Time here is measured in sensations. The fading of warmth, the heaviness of eyelids, the subtle shift in the body from alertness to surrender. You feel that shift now. Your limbs grow heavier. The straw mattress no longer feels uneven, it feels supportive. Shared rooms meant shared safety. Even kings rarely slept entirely alone. Attendants often remained nearby. Solitude was not considered necessary for rest. Community was the insulation against fear. You belong to the room. The room belongs to the night. Your breathing slows further, syncing with the fading pulse of the embers. No glowing screens, no humming machines, just stone, straw, wool, breath, and ember. The hour between sleeps. You do not wake suddenly. You rise slowly, as if surfacing through warm, dark water. The embers are dimmer now, reduced to a faint red glow, and the room has shifted in temperature. The warmth that once gathered near the hearth has thinned, and cool air brushes your cheek. This is the hour between sleeps. In many medieval households, this quiet interval was entirely ordinary. First and second sleep, Written records from the Middle Ages and even the early modern period refer to first sleep and second sleep as common terms. People expected to wake in the middle of the night. It was a rhythm their bodies understood. Communal proximity, privacy as we define it today, is a modern indulgence. Whether in family homes or crowded inns, medieval life was intimate. Travelers often paid for space, not privacy, finding themselves pressed shoulder to shoulder with total strangers. The rhythms of the night. You open your eyes. The darkness feels softer than before. The outlines of bodies around you are faint shapes under wool blankets. Someone shifts, the mattress straw sighing in response. Another sleeper snores lightly, an uneven, almost heroic rumble that seems far too bold for such a small room. You turn slightly, careful not to disturb the sleeper beside you. The wool blanket brushes your chin. Its weave is coarse but sturdy, dyed perhaps in muted russet or left natural and undyed. Color in textiles was a status symbol. Indigo blues and deep reds were prized, while others settled for the earth-toned reality of the hearth. The shared silence. Scholars still argue whether people felt more secure in these shared arrangements or quietly longed for solitude. But lying here, you sense both truths coexisting. There is comfort in proximity. There is awareness. The medieval world was intimate in ways modern life rarely is. Distance between bodies was a luxury reserved for the wealthy. You listen to the architecture of the night. The wood beam contracting, a subtle, organic pop. The sleeper to your left, slow, steady breathing. The sleeper to your right. A faint whistle on each exhale. The second descent. You consider sitting up, but the straw mattress holds you gently and curiosity keeps you still. You imagine being at an inn instead, a merchant on one side, a farmer on the other, the unspoken etiquette of shared sleeping defined by minimal movement and mutual tolerance. A tiny spark flares in the hearth and dies. Your eyes grow heavier again. This is the quiet pivot between wakefulness and surrender. You feel it like a tide reversing. The room feels smaller now, more intimate. Shared breath has warmed the air slightly despite the fading fire. You realize you do not need solitude to rest. You need only rhythm. Breath beside breath, warmth beside warmth. Darkness that feels inhabited, not empty. Your body accepts the invitation, and quietly, gently, you return to sleep. Next step. Would you like me to write the morning scene?